Welcome back to the Wizard shop. We're actually outside of the shop, and I thought today I would go over some of the pitfalls and some of the scary things you can get into by purchasing old European cars. I've been watching online of people getting online and actually posting, some of the forums I'm members of, pictures of cars on Craigslist and this. I'm drooling over this Porsche, I'm drooling over this BMW. It's only $2,000. We're gonna burst some people's bubbles today. And with me today, I have a special guest, Hoovie.
You're going to tell people not to buy old broken European cars?
Oh, I am. Please, don't. I get phone calls all the time. Hey, I got this car off Craigslist for $2,000 and it's leaking radiator and the clutch is slipping. And I give them an estimate and it's as if I murdered one of their family members. It's like, what do you expect?
So you're basically saying for me not to do what I do?
No, you get a special rate that no one else gets.
I see. But still, you're giving advice that
would
be detrimental to your business.
You typically don't show up to the shop with stuff like this.
I bought this.
Yeah, but you didn't expect to restore it like new.
What's wrong with the Jag?
A lot. And we're going to go over how much it's going to cost. What I'm getting ready to do is show you guys a few vehicles, and this is some of the rules here, is that you're not mechanically inclined. You have to pay a shop's full rate, full markup on the parts, and you're at the mercy of the shop. Kind of like him. So on this Jag. Let's pretend we just went on Craigslist. We found this for 800 bucks. Score, big time. Score.
I got it for $200 actually.
Well, I paid more than that. How did that happen?
I should have told you that.
Okay. Well, anyways, we went on Craigslist. We scored this for 800 bucks. Score. I'm driving a Jag now. And then all of a sudden the problems start arising. This one actually has a rear wheel bearing in the back, and the hub and everything is completely just demolished. Let's go over what's going to take to get that fixed. The carrier that holds the bearing, new, is $1,000. The hub, which is also damaged on this, 400 bucks. Bearings are 150 bucks. Labor is $600. Just to fix the bearings in the back, $2,150. This vehicle also has knock sensor issues, which is common on these. The intake has to come off to get to them. 130 bucks a piece times 2. Labor is 130 bucks. We've got 450 bucks just in knock sensors. And we're not done yet. Another common issue on these is throttle position sensors that go bad. You can send them off and get them rebuilt for 500 or 600 bucks. And the labor on that, it's not too much, 100 bucks. You're almost $1,000 just to get your throttle position sensor. And if you decide to buy a new throttle position sensor, they're $3,000.
So wait, there's more?
There's more. If you go through all these things on this car to get it right, and you only paid $800 into it, now you're $4,000 into it.
Well, that's not bad.
Not bad.
That's cheaper than a new Jag.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If you bought the brand new throttle position sensor, throttle body, you'd be at $7,000 right now.
Well, that's kind of bad.
Now, you're driving down the road. You just sunk all this money into this car, and then somebody T-bones you and totals the thing.
Ow.
Ow, yeah.
Gentle.
Okay, well, someone T-boned it and totaled it. Insurance hands you a check, $2,700. And that is all they're going to pay and legally obligated to pay, what the value of the vehicle is. But I've got $5,000 into this car. Too bad. It is not a wise investment.
It's still cheaper than a new Jag.
Yeah, you're right, it is. A new Jag is, what, 100 grand, 80 grand?
Yeah, but this one has quite a bit of damage to it. Clearly, I sold it at the right time before I spent any money on it.
This is actually Junior Mint's Jag.
Junior Mint, yes.
Yeah.
Good little tinker project for someone.
It will be. Be perfect for him. Let's move on inside. We have a few more cars to look at. Let's head that way. Okay, up next,
Oh, this is nice.
It is nice. This one actually is nice.
I almost. How much?
How much for this one? You'll
Yes.
have to talk to the owner,
Okay.
Bob at EuroAsian.
Well, what's the hypothetical price?
So, you go into Craigslist. You pick this up for $5,000, and it
Sold.
needs work.
No, sure. It's a turbo. I can't talk. It's so exciting. It's a turbo Porsche.
Okay.
For $5,000.
So you get home and it's dripping coolant. And you find out the radiator's leaking. A new radiator is $450.
Oh.
The labor is $600. And you got coolant and supplies of $50. You just sunk $1,100 to fix your radiator.
In a turbo Porsche.
In a turbo
Worth it.
Porsche. Okay, so you got that fixed.
Fixed.
And you go to take it out and drive it, and you realize the clutch is slipping.
Okay.
So you need a new clutch. You need a new pressure plate, throwout bearing, disc, pilot bearing, all that, the whole kit.
All on the back end of
Get
it.
a proper Sachs clutch kit is $1,000.
Mm.
The labor, 19 hours.
Really?
$1,800 in labor. And a few supplies or things you might need for $50. That's $3,000 just for the clutch.
So I'm still 10
So-
grand, under 10 grand into a turbo
So
Porsche.
we've got $5,000, we bought it.
Yes.
We've got a $3,000 clutch, an $1,100 radiator.
Yes.
5, 6, 7, 8. We're $9,100 into it.
I'm still under the money.
Then
Still making money.
you
No.
go and drive it,
Okay.
and you realize it's got a coolant leak still.
Oh.
And you go call the shop and you cuss them out
Yeah.
because you just had the radiator put in.
Exactly.
Well, he gets it in the shop and realizes the water pump's leaking, and it hasn't had a timing belt service.
That's because you just did the radiator. So it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's Wizard's fault.
It's Wizard's fault. It ends up that way, but no, it's not. So a timing belt and water pump kit is $1,000.
Uh-huh.
The labor is $600. And coolant and supplies $100. Here at $1,700 timing belt service. So now we are over 10 grand into this car.
Which is about what a nice one would cost.
You could have just bought a nice one. Did you come out ahead? No. And again, the same scenario. Someone T-bones you, totals your car, totally just destroys it. Insurance is going to give you a check for what? 8 grand? 10?
Well, it depends. On this one, it's a classic car to where you can get agreed value, but still, yeah, you're probably buying a hoopty, so you're not getting expensive insurance anyway, so
Yep.
you're smoked.
You're smoked.
Oh well.
Lost it all.
At least you had a turbo Porsche for a little bit.
Yeah, for a little bit. It was fun while it
Yes.
lasted.
Yes.
Okay.
You haven't discouraged me yet.
Not yet. Let's move on down the line to the little BMW.
I have a certain level of automotive masochism, though, that most people don't. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Up next, a 78 BMW 320i. You just went on Craigslist. You scored this for $2,000.
Oh, I'm so smart.
It hasn't ran in 9 years.
Yeah.
The whole fuel system is trash. This scenario happens over and over and over with these old Bosch Jetronic
But
systems.
it ran when parked.
Ran when parked,
Ran when parked.
but not now.
9 years ago.
$2,000, you bought it.
Steal.
The fuel distributor, we're going to have to replace the wholesale, the whole fuel system, because it's all going to be trashed.
Uh-huh.
Fuel distributor up there that the fuel lines come out of, $1,000 for a new one.
Okay.
A fuel pump, $200. The accumulator, $175. A filter for $30. All 4 injectors for $150. A warm-up regulator for $450. Labor and $800.
Huh?
We're almost $3,000 into it, just with the fuel system.
Just for the fuel system.
We
But
haven't
then-
done the brakes. It's been sitting for 9 years. We haven't done anything else.
So I can't go and drive it. I can go, but I can't stop.
Yeah, we don't know if you can stop. We don't even know if it has brakes.
Okay.
$3,000 into it just to get it possibly running. And it's probably going to leak oil after you get it running from setting from 9 years. And then again, you get into a wreck. You get a check for $2,200. $3,000 maybe. You lost all that money. It's not a, this is a wise investment if you can do all the work and you get the parts cheap on eBay or something. You're not paying shop markup. But if you're relying on a shop at full rate, not with the rate that Hoovie gets, it can get out of hand very, very fast.
Yeah.
We have one more to do.
One more.
One more.
I think I'm starting to get this lesson. You're beating it into my head.
Okay. Let's move over to a Porsche 928 that everyone's been asking about in the comments.
I'd still buy it, really.
You still would, huh? And here we have an 85 Porsche 928.
Oh, is it? Is it? It's a manual.
It's a manual. It's a manual.
How much?
What's that?
Oh, the E63 wagon.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, look at the color.
It's green.
Oh, forget
It's
that.
green. It was the cheapest E63 wagon.
AMG.
This is totally breaking what he's saying in the video, though, because it was the cheapest one that needs some work.
How much did you get it for?
$13,000.
13,000?
Mhm.
I'd have to buy it.
There you go.
I'd have to fix it all.
See, you're just as dumb as the people you're trying to talk to on your video.
I guess so. Let's finish our Porsche here.
It's a manual, so how much hypothetical dollars is this thing, Wizard?
Hypothetical, if you picked one up
dollars.
not running, it'd
Yes.
probably be at least 15 or 20 grand, I would say. Not running.
For a manual? I think you're a little high there, but...
Well, when they're in perfect shape with 30,000 miles like this one,
Yeah.
what are they, 30 or 40 grand?
Sure, I guess for a manual, yes, you're
Yeah.
right. So, yes, a manual 928.
So you just bought this for 10 or 15 grand.
Yes! Yes!
And it doesn't run. It hasn't ran in 4 years, but it's only got 30,000 miles on it.
So to start right up, just some fresh gas and...
Okay.
You know,
So the water pump's leaking. You finally got it to start. The fuel system's okay. It actually runs, and it's leaking out of the water pump, which means it's time for a timing belt water pump. $350 for the water pump, $500 for the timing kit.
oh,
And you also, while you're doing the work, you notice the radiator's leaking. The side tanks are leaking. $900 for a radiator.
oh.
So you get that all together, and you get it started again, and you see the power steering pump is bad. It's whining. It's
Oh.
the power steering pump, $750.
$750.
Yes,
Okay.
it is a new one.
Wow.
We're $4 grand into this thing. I guess this one wouldn't be so bad to get it running because of the low mileage and it's a
Right.
manual.
Getting a low mileage with the pedigree and all that stuff to go through and get it going again wouldn't be the end of the world, but most people are buying $2,000 junker cars and thinking
Yeah.
they're going to do something with it. But
And really, what I'm
No.
aiming at is just a plain Jane automatic 928,
right, there's so many of them out there on Craigslist.
and you
Yeah.
pick them up for $1,500 or
Right.
something. And then at least the wiper motor doesn't work, so you get that. That's $350 parts and labor. You got a $1,500 928. You're $4,500 into it. It gets wrecked, and you get a check for $2,500.
Not only it doesn't have to wreck, you could just get tired of it in a year and you're
And you
still
try to sell it.
you're still right back where you are.
People aren't going to pay for an plain old automatic.
Yeah, with scratched up paint, it doesn't matter. But how much money
Yeah.
you spent on it? You spent $4,000 on it. Now it's probably worth $2,000. You paid $1,500 for it. So I don't wreck them. That's usually just what happens to me. So, yeah.
So I've seen these scenarios a lot in the shop, and I've actually been through these scenarios where I have allowed someone to put a whole bunch of money into their car. Then they get into a wreck, and I get a phone call and say, you know that car that you worked on, and I got $4,000 into it. I just got in a wreck. The insurance company gave me $2,500. And then they want to say, how can I get my money out of this car? Can you help me out here? No. You got market value for your car, your ass out. You're done.
It's not the wizard's fault.
Not my fault. I didn't wreck your car. So, anyways, that's not to really discourage anyone from buying these cars. What it is a wake-up call. You can very easily get out of hand when trying to fix one of these old European cars. Yeah, I got this thing for $800 and then you're $5 grand into it to try to make it run right. But there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. If you really like the car, if you personally like the car, and you're not worried about value, or maybe it's got sentimental value, maybe it's worth it to you. And, you know, that's the way it is. We're getting ready to actually film this thing.
I have a bit of advice.
What's that?
You could start a YouTube channel and make a complete fool out of yourself buying these junk cars, and people watch it, and then that kind of pays for it. It works.
It works?
It's a business model I invented.
Do you have any experience with it?
Just a bit, yes.
Okay. Well, anyways, if you see any tools I've used in my previous videos, check my Amazon affiliates page. We got all my tools I use for sale there. We also got merchandise for sale. There's flashlights for sale there. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button, hit the little bell. And again, thanks for watching. I'm going to go drool over this thing now.
Nice.
Oh.
Don't rub it that way.
Oh.
I always get weird with my cars.